Hey, cousins, did you hear of this 62-year-old grandmother who married a man in jail who were sentenced to for life sentence? That means he's never going to get out. She goes online, meets him, marry him, and guess what he did, y'all? He took her out of here. I'm going to show you the rest of the pictures. He unalive her in a conjugal visit. He unalive her. And ladies, this is why I go so hard on YouTube. I want to help you not to be this 62-year-old woman. My heart goes out to her family. She was a born-again Christian, so we know she's with the Lord. My heart goes out to her kids and her grandkids and her family kids. But ladies, I want you to know this was a foolish woman. This is the result of you being a foolish woman, not using wisdom, going in the jail, trying to, what's the word they use? Rehabilitate him. You can't rehabilitate a killer. Here's the video. Her being delusional. God said, girl, this is not God, ma'am.
Really fall in love with him. The worst of enemies can't hurt us. I've seen people have testimonies where somebody killed their child and they prayed for that person's soul. That's where we have to be. That's where we have to be.
And let me give a shout out to True American Crime. Let me get the name of this channel. I'm gonna give her a shout out and I'll link the whole video below because I'm not listening to the whole thing. Just this part of this woman being delusional about God said and all this foolishness. And we have got to stop this. Okay?
Be that person. Because you reap what you sow.
American Crime
word. You can't
femicide.
I want to reap benefits. So he had told me to stand. He told me to fall in love with Jesus. And then he told me to get ready for a blessing. Wow.
The death of a woman at a jail in Amador County while on a visit is now being investigated as a homicide. It happened last Wednesday.
So now it's a homicide. She went to visit him for a conjugal visit. I'm talking through this so I don't get a copyright. And now they're saying it's a homicide.
Mule Creek State Prison when 62-year-old Stephanie Diane Brinson was visiting her husband. He's an inmate there. The State Department of Corrections says the inmate used the family visit phone to tell officers his wife had passed out during her visit. But the cause of her death is allegedly to have been caused by strangulation. Amador County and the state prison is now handling the investigation.
Stephanie? There you go. There you go. Again, my heart goes out to her and her family. But at the same time, we have to, how can we help somebody else? How can we help other young women and even older women? At this age, you would think for an older woman, you would have things, you wouldn't even think to marry a lifetime criminal. But that's what happened. That is who she chose. What I tell y'all, a husband is a choice, right? The husband you choose will determine the rest of your life. And she going on over there, visiting him, trying to rehabilitate him. He's a killer, man. You can't rehabilitate a man like this. You just cannot. Here's another clip of the family wanting answers.
Family, and they're demanding answers. They want to know why an inmate with such a violent history like this was allowed to have unsupervised visits in the first place.
You see how they're blaming? They're blaming. It's a fair question. It's a fair question of this man has such a violent past. Why was he allowed conjugal visit? But they're not asking the question, why did my mama marry a lifetime criminal? He has 4 life sentences. The question should be, why did my mama get on that computer, meet that man, marry him, go up in there, seeing him, spending time with him, trying to rehabilitate him? That's where you need to start. That is where the question needs to start. Why did my mama do this? Why did mama do this?
the most giving, kind-hearted person.
62-year-old Stephanie Dowles was always trying to help others. Her mother,
There you go. Always trying to help others, and there's nothing wrong with helping people, but there's some people you just cannot help. He's a lifetime criminal. You can't help him. Bye.
Vita Wilson, says
I would often tell my sweetheart, you can't save the world.
Dowles was a mother herself to 2 sons, grandmother to 6. She was a hairstylist and a small.
You cannot save the world. Isn't that a question? You cannot save the world. This man unalived 4 people in 1994. That is 31 years ago. My daughter was born in 1994. 31 years ago. He broke in somebody's house to rob them. There was 2 men there, and then there's 2 visitors. He put 4 bullets in their heads. Each person got a bullet in their head. And this is who? This is who, ma'am, you chose to be your husband. This is who you believe God, your father, who loved you so much and want the best for you, is telling was your husband. Him. This man who put 4 bullets in 4 innocent people's head is who you thought was a good man, and you wanted to marry him, going over the top of you rereading the Bible. You're trying to get him to be a better person. If Jesus can't get him to be a better person, you can't. Look at her, 62 years old. You should be home, beautiful woman, should be home enjoying your children, enjoying your grandchildren, serving the community. You over here. Look at this criminal. Look at this unaliver. Look at this unaliver. Beautiful woman. My pictures got messed up on there. Beautiful woman. And her grandchildren and her children was not enough to keep her content and happy. Now, I do not believe people who unalive people should be getting visits in jail. You don't deserve it. But you know what? They have it, and ain't nobody told her to get up there on that computer to find this unaliver trying to rehabilitate him and then turn around and marry him. Look at her, 62-year-old. Instead of you over here teaching Sunday school, being happy with your grandkids and all of that, you over here sticking your tongue out to the man, to the killer in jail, going over there spending the night, being conjugal visits. Look at that. What I always tell y'all, the husband you choose will determine your rest of you. Look at her children. Beautiful children. They weren't enough those kids were not enough. Whatever was going on between her legs was hotter than what was going on in her heart for her children and her grandchildren. And look what happened. That's going to be your defining story. A 62-year-old woman married a 4-time life sentence unaliver, and then he unalived you. Because, see, unalivers are unalivers. They have to do that. They have to unalive people. That's why they put them in jail and keep them locked away, so they don't unalive other people, because it's like it's a demon. They need to satisfy that demon. You on over there talk about, I'm trying to rehabilitate. How can you rehabilitate an unaliver? But you know what? We see this all the time, don't we? This is what I talk about a lot in my books and in my writing and in my videos of women trying to change men, trying to fix him, trying to rehabilitate him, trying to help him. You cannot help him. You cannot help him, ma'am. Look at this, mass unaliver. This is what the New York Post is saying. Mass unaliver allegedly strangles wife during conjugal visits. How could they let this happen? No, how could she marry a mass murderer and be alone with a mass murderer? That's the question. The question is not, how could they let this happen? No. How could she? She chose to marry a mass murderer. She chose to be alone with a mass murderer. She did not have to get up there on that computer, meet this mass murderer. Even if you met him, you didn't have to talk to him. You didn't have to marry him. You didn't have to go in there being alone with him. You didn't have to go in there trying to rehabilitate him. A mass murderer strangled his wife during a conjugal visit in his California prison, according to prosecutors. David Brinson, allegedly serving lifetime for 4 murders, had claimed that his wife, Stephanie Dow, a 62-year-old grandmother, had fainted when she was found dead after an unsupervised overnight visit last November at a Mule Creek State Prison near Sacramento. But an investigation showed that his wife had been throttled with her death ruled a homicide, prosecutor says. For lifetime. Prosecutors said they are waiting for cops to wrap up the investigation before they file charges against the husband, who's already serving a lifetime. It don't mean nothing. He's already serving for lifetime. For lifetime. He probably going to be dead before he served 1 lifetime. For gunning down 4 people in 1990, Ferrari was not even declared how long the period had been married. However, adults, 2 children are demanding to know how she could be left alone with a known killer. No, kids, I'm sorry. I know it makes you feel better to put the blame on them, but your mama is the one that married him. Your mother is the one that chose to be alone with this murderer. Your mother is the one that kept going up there being alone with him. Your mother. And this is why, ladies, I tell y'all all the time, the husband you choose will determine the rest of your life. All these men out here, she chose a 4-time mass murderer. I want y'all to think about that. And y'all wonder why I go so hard. And I beg and plead for my young ladies to get your emotions in order. Learn to love yourself. Learn to love the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and he will teach you and show you the way. Take your cookie off the table. Do not allow your vagina to make lifetime decisions for you. Don't do it. 23 times, you could meet him and you don't mean you have to marry him. And that is what she did. I have to run, my cousin. Comment below and let me know what you think about this. Would you marry a murderer? Is any of y'all out here talking about you being a pen pal to these murders and these criminals in jail? That is who they are. Leave them alone. Talk to you later. Bye.